Hello, this is Victor. I'm here in second part on the that I'm working on the painting and converting the Farseer into a Shadowseer. Remember that in the first part I explained how to do this clothes, the yellow, and this part here on the top part of the body. And in the meantime I also did this part here. So in that way, once it's assembled, I have the same harlequin pattern in both sides. This part is not going to be. I'm checking now that everything will match, will be correctly placed. This arm will go like that, and then this thing will go assembled in that position. So this is how it will look like, and yeah, this is how I want it to be. So now what I'm going to do is, with this part assembled, I will do the same thing that I did here on this leaf. So I will start applying a screaming thing, sorry. So try to apply the paint, thin it down. You can see the back is not done, so I will do the back part later on. The back part is here. They wanted to see how it was looking like. So it's just to have an idea. I will only apply now the color, because later on I will need to do all the highlights when this thing is assembled together. And I want to be consistent, so I don't think I will keep working on that. Because but I wanted to see, it's just to have an idea. Here we have to imagine that we'll have the same as here on top. I will do the sleeve on the same way. So yeah, and now I will do the bells here, and I will do some of the details. So let's take this out here, and I'm going to do this bell. I want to use a color that is contrasting very well here, and I will use the straightforward dawn yellow, that is the H paint for yellow. It's a very light one, and yeah, and I will do this here. Okay, and I will do the gold part. I will do also this small gem here, although it's gold. Gold will go very well on top of this super light yellow. This part is going to be covered, so it makes no sense to keep working there. Here I will just finalize, although this part is also covered now. Just to be sure that we don't see unpainted parts once it's assembled. Okay, we wait until this dries. The back, I think I will do the back on browns, so I will use XV88. Sorry. I will use XV88 to paint the back. This should be okay. So we wait until this dries, and in the meantime I will paint. I will do a wash here on the gold parts, and yeah, these are very small gold parts. I will use Drachi Violet. And I will apply a wash. Here, where we have the yellow, we have to be very careful. Then here. We don't want the violet to be too noticeable. So we want that is making a shade. A little bit at the back. This part is not going to be visible, but just to be consistent. Okay, and we wait until this dries completely. So this part I will paint assemble it to completely. I will clean a little bit this. Now what I will do on the bell, I will put a little bit of Casandora yellow. It's the yellow wash. Okay, and then a little bit more on the middle. We can use a little bit of this Casandora yellow to improve the shade here at the top of the okay. Now we wait until this dries. So we wait until all these parts dry. In the meantime, I know that I want to paint. The only thing that I can do in the meantime is to paint these shoulder pads with Aberland Sunset. Aberland Sunset, you have to be careful and thin it down. Here I was almost painting too thick, and you have to do 2 layers normally if you're painting on top of black. If you paint too thick, you will see the brush strokes. So this is why I went very thin. You can thin it with water or with... In that case I'm just thinning with water. But be sure that you do very thin. You see that it's covering pretty well on top of black. And no one is quite thin, the paint. And yeah, as it is thin, you lose a little bit of control in that case because I thin it a lot. But it's giving a most soft covering. You will not see the brush strokes are not going to be visible. Yellow is always a little bit tricky to use. Okay, we'll let it dry and we will do a second layer later on. So the wash here is dry, and now I'm going to do another wash with Aquax Airshade on the brown on the back. Okay. Wait until this dries, and while this is drying we can do... I think I'm going to do the rest, everything glued. So I will wait that this dries and I will finish this part, and then I will start gluing everything together. So as you can see, at the end I decided to assemble everything together, and this is how it's looking like right now. The work on the Sahdowseer. Now we are going to do all the details here inside, and later on I'm going to do the cape. But first of all, before working on the cape, I want to cover this gap here. So what I will do to cover this gap, I will take this tool, and I will use green stuff to cover this. So I will take some green stuff out of the pot. Put this here on a piece of paper. This green stuff is a little bit too dry to be used. So I will use water, and then we can use the water in that case to make it softer. and to make it more easy to manipulate. Okay. Now I'm going to apply this so this is the liquid, so it's in reality is the liquid green stuff. We are going to apply this to cover the slot. That miniature that is a character, is important that we avoid to have this slot visible. And I was playing with this, and yeah, and was difficult to completely cover the slot in that case, in that part. We can also use an alt brush, and I think I will use it right now. I'm going to clean this up. Okay. Because this is like the paint, so we also want to avoid that this is covering the detail. So I will take an old brush, example this one, and I will try to be sure that we don't put, we just put on the slot. The slot is only visible from this side, on the other side is not visible, and we want to cover the slot completely. Okay, and we want to smoothen the transition from the green stuff area. Now it's looking like more like a mold. The slot is covered. This will look like more like a mold flash. You can see the green stuff can be also thinned just with water. Okay. And now if we paint the details that are in the other side, we have to be careful not to put our hand on top of this part that we just green stuff. Okay. Okay. We'll let it dry. And while this part is drying, we can work a little bit on the gems. So to do the gems, I will also do the top gems on the shoulder pads, and I will start applying how turquoise. I will use a detail brush. So we are going to apply here in this symbol. On the bell, and we try to leave the frame with the gold color. Here I forgot to put the gold, so I will do this later on. Here I will do also this one. I was hesitating if to do this one or not, but at the end I will do, and I will leave a gold frame too. We have to be careful not to touch. I will try to put it again on top of the cork to see if I can hold it in that position and avoid to touch the miniature. Yes, I need to put some more adhesive. And finally we are going to do the gems on the shoulder pads. You can see I'm thinning down the paint. So I will apply this on all the gems, as you can see, and I will be back when I did the same on all the gems. So the Haupt Turquoise is applied on the gems, and now we are going to apply Temple Guard Blue. To apply this color, we are going to apply partially on the gem. We'll do here an example. We're leaving a part, a small part with the previous color. So I will do something like this. Leaving this part with the previous blue. This one is going to be more tricky. So what I will do in that one is just apply some of this blue in the middle, trying to leave the surrounding with the previous color. Here we are going to do in that way too. One, then the small ones here I will do the same that I did on the front, on the small one, sorry, on top. Yes. Okay. Next color, Bahar Blue. This is an edge paint that I'm going to use here. And I do the same, I just apply this corner, and then on these gems these very small ones I will just apply on the center. Okay. This one that is longer I will apply just in one side. The same one, and these ones I will try to apply it just close to the bottom. And here in that one, in one side as well. Next color that I'm going to use, White Scar. we do this, and then we are going to put small dot here on the top. Here. The dot have to be placed in the darkest part of the gem. This one that I find the line too thick, I go back with Warhammer blue and I try to thin it down. Okay. And then we are going to apply the white. Okay. Here in this gem we are going to do like 2 dots, one here at the bottom and one very small on top. These ones we are going to do the same. So one dot here, bigger in the dark, in the light part. One very small on the other side. This one, if you find it's too big, take Warhammer blue and I just make it smaller. The same I will do here. Okay. And now I'm going to paint this rope here and this back. And I will go for a color that can contrast here, but this is still in the same palette and I want to avoid brown. So I will go for a purple color and I will use Gen Stealer purple in that case. I think it will work well here. Yeah, if not, we are going to check how this purple is working, but it should be quite visible, colorful. I'm looking for a colorful color, and then on the back we are going to apply later on a wash to make it darker and to make it look like a velvety back that is purple. I want also to avoid yellow because I think we have enough yellow at this moment. So I think purple will be good enough to pop up, and we are going to use the lighter purple, the H purple, to do the highlights and to make it really visible. Okay, here we one. We have to think is here later on we are going to put a mask. Like all the shadows here have the mask hanging from these ornaments, so we are going to put another mask at the back. I think I will put 2 masks at the end. And yeah, I think this is good enough. Then for the back there, we can do a darker purple. Or I will use, no, because pink, or we can use, yeah, I will use this darker color. Okay. Now we'll wait until this dry, and while we are waiting that this dries, I will do this gem. To do this gem, I will do the same as others. I will paint gold, and then I will do. So I will not display how I do this gems because it's going to be repetition of the others. So I will be working on that, and I will be back. So as you can see, I was working on this part here. Now what I want to show you is a small tip. When you have this here that is gold on top of yellow and it's not contrasting too much, it's good to use the wash to improve the contrast. So I'm going to apply the wash just here. That way I'm delimiting the area where I have the gold. Okay. And then I will apply a little bit more wash here on this back. Right. Something like that, and then this part have more contrast with the yellow. At the same time, we are going to take Dwetchy Violet, and we are going to wash the purple parts that we painted before. Especially on the back. This thing is not neat, but the back will help to give this type velvety thing that I want to give appearance. Here we are going to apply a little bit. This back is almost all hidden, so just a little bit is good enough. While this is drying, I will try not to touch this part. Oh, shit. So I just want to show you this part now is dry, the green stuff. The slot is completely covered, and now what we have is a little bit of like a small flash, because the joint is not exactly the same height. But this is going to be good enough because this is going to be less visible once we paint. So, but at the end the slot is completely covered. So we wait until this dries. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the base color to the cloak. I will give a very deep purple color. On the cloak I will use Nagaroth Night. And we are going to play this on the cloak, except the sleeve. Remember that the sleeve will go with this same color as of this part. So we are going to apply this Nagaroth Night on all the parts. We are going to give the sleeves. Okay. And I think I will finish doing this part, because in the next part I want to explain how I do the freehand on the cloak, I will prepare everything to be ready to do the freehand on the cloak on the next part. And then to paint the shoulder pads, I will use the same technique that I use here. I will use the same type of highlights. So I don't need to repeat this explanation, because the yellow on the shoulder pads, I will follow the same technique that I follow on the yellow on this thing here. So I will apply now this base. I will be back just to show you how to finish this part, and then we are going to stop. I will stop in this part too. So as you can see, I did all the base color on the cloak at the back. Now I will do also the base color of the sleeves to see how all the colors are combining together. I like to see all the base colors at once to see how they combine, and then in that way I can see if I will need a freehand or not somewhere, and where it's making more sense to do. So I will apply this color. You can see also this screamer pink is covering very well on top of black, so not giving any problem. I will do this and I will be back in a minute. So now to finish the work here on this back and all these parts, I think I will zoom a little bit in, a little bit too far. So to do the work here, I will use first Gen Steeler purple, that was the original color, before doing the wash, and I will use the color lilac. So I will paint with Gen Steeler color, purple this part here, on the top. Then I will give I use the color I like to do this lighter highlights. Then I will use the same color I like to do some highlights on this, as you can see, like that. To highlight the small purple back here, we'll just apply a little bit of Gen Steeler. And this moment is good enough, and I will do the yellow part as I did here, so using 3 layers of highlight, starting with Ariel yellow. But I will finalize this part 2 here, because I want to start doing the freehand on the cloak, and I will do just one video to explain how I do the freehand. So I stop here. Please keep tuned if you're interested to know what is a freehand I'm going to do at the back. And thanks a lot for watching. Bye.